Welcome to EyeOpener, powered by Siemens. And now your host, Gugan Sanger.
Like a customer understanding what's a good sensor versus a bad one. I was actually speaking with one of the engineers a few days ago, and he did also mention this, where a good customer will understand, like with a good sensor you'll be able to get certain frequencies. That basically just means we can detect data more specifically depending on the frequency. But then I think also from a technical understanding, when we're going into projects, organizations who understand what data is there and what kind of failures they're experiencing, it will be able to allow us to really assess where any gaps are, and if there are potentially any red flags, we can do that then. And if they're normally quite open, transparent, the good ones. The bad ones would be where they don't really understand, but they want to begin the project. And when you do begin that project and you're looking to identify relevant data and potential failures, if there's that massive gap, then it delays that onboarding and it delays the time. That fourth would be the project size and duration. And this is probably one that I come across a lot, in the sense of when I'm having these initial discussions, people will say to me, and I'll say to them, what size are you looking to begin with? Like how many machines, how many assets would you look to begin with? And the good ones were always, that they're thinking big picture. They're thinking we need a representative sample that will be able to show that the people to say proof of concept. I prefer proof of value, because proof of value, we know the concept of the solution works. We've delivered it with multiple customers. But the proof of value for that organization, are they seeing value in this? Is it making an impact on their day-to-day work? When you have a good enough size and you have a large sample size, it's going to impact your day-to-day work, how you do your maintenance processes, how you do your activities. Whereas a small sample size, it's not gonna change anything. But if you're a maintenance user and you're just monitoring 5 assets, what's that going to do to your day-to-day work? It's not going to really impact it.
The question that me and other people in the sales process and pre-sales will ask a company is, how do you work currently? What's your daily maintenance process? Do you have stand-ups?
Yeah.
How do you make decisions about what to do? What is your maintenance methodology? And the answer that we will invariably give to their description is, well, this is, bring us in and we can appear here or we can appear there, or you can take the cases that are raised and have them appear in Teams if that's where you do most of your work, or we can integrate with an existing CMMS that might have built, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the sense-iness of it becomes less important, the implementation becomes unimportant. It's just the cases that arise that are important, and that they appear at the right time so people can incorporate them into conversations about asset health and make decisions about activities, and then affect outcomes. Our best route to success with a client is to try not to disturb their culture at all, but to try and we're as much to blame for this as any other provider and any company that has a big division that deals with cultural change. So the idea is that if you successfully implement a new technology that changes a process, that in order for that process to be successful, you also need to have some way of managing the job tasks and the roles and the way people work with the product. And that's usually encapsulated as some kind of cultural change.
Yeah.
This is me personally. I'm not speaking for anybody but me, but I think it's a bit grandiose to say you're going to affect a cultural change. It's just a software tool. We're not going in and doing something to or with the employees of a company to affect some big step change. In fact, my view is it's exactly the opposite. We want to observe how their culture is currently and slipstream into it, so they can adopt our processes and product without really any disruption.
Is going to be high-level sponsorship, and initiatives that are pushed from top down are always more powerful. They're always more likely to be adopted. People are likely to be on board with it, and from a cultural perspective, if it's coming from the top down into the organisation, it's more likely to be able to stick, and people to really take it in. but also when it comes to I would say not only the initial deployment, but when you're looking to scale a project, the high level sponsor will be able to help negotiate the political boundaries of different sites and enable you to be able to connect with the right people when you go from site to site.
But
yeah, and I think especially in industries like manufacturing, where there's been waves of reduction in human footprint, and because of the introduction of new technology. But I think with this wave, with this specific type of solution, what we see is it is just about the value add and adding extra input to the existing team and the decisions they make and getting more value from them.
yeah,
So if you look at the projects that we've run over a number of years, so for example Nissan, you will see that there has not been a change upward or downward of the number of personnel working on these projects. There is change in other aspects and other measures they might look at, like OEE and uptime and unplanned downtime and all the kind of things that you might measure success on in a project, but not on the individuals.
yeah,
Third is going to be high level sponsorship, and initiatives that are pushed from top down are always more powerful. They're always more likely to be adopted. People are likely to be on board with it, and from a cultural perspective, if it's coming from the top down into the organisation, it's more likely to be able to stick and people to really take it in. But also when it comes to I would say not only the initial deployment, but when you're looking to scale a project, the high level sponsor will be able to help negotiate the political boundaries of different sites and enable you to be able to connect with the right people when you go from site to site. And in terms of that high level management, they can be your champion.
But in the world of predictive maintenance, the fact that it's, is it artificial? Is it intelligence? Arguably no. Is it predictive maintenance? It's really more about good maintenance. So we need to strip back and we need to get rid of this kind of excitement of thinking about what this stuff could be and let people understand what it really is now, not in the factory of the future, not kind of based on next gen AI, but what is it now and what can be achieved for this kind of stuff. And it falls into categories around what the product is, what it should do, how you use it, and how you trial it. Right, so that's pretty much everything. And I think before we get into that, I think a lot of the issues around misunderstandings related to predictive maintenance come from the fact that, whether we like it or not, we're still quite early in the days of AI. I'm going to say the full name, artificial intelligence. One of the reasons that I wanted to come and work for Sensei specifically was that I'd worked for 5 years for an information security organisation, for a membership organisation, and we used to run a lot of events and host webinars and all sorts of things, and people would come and talk all sorts of terrible topics and terrible frightening things that were going to happen with AI, completely unsubstantiated with any facts. It was all sort of future gazing, but never really offering any interesting solutions for the market.
The first and most important one, I would say, is people. People are essential to this. Having an organisation that can devote the resources to predictive maintenance, to be able to give that time, be willing and open to learning, and also not stand there on the sideline. I think is really important, because from our side and delivering the projects, there's only so much we can do. We can't get the customer to just sit on the sideline and watch us, doing the hard work, doing the hard labour. It needs to be a collaboration, and the good projects that the people will understand that it's 50% from them, it's 50% from us, and we're meeting in the middle. And like I said, with the resources, they'll have a good understanding of the resources that will be needed, making the resources available. But also, within organisations, people will leave. People will, there'll be changes in roles. So some people may come and go, and it's also being able to allow people to be able to come in, to be able to fit into that project, and people wanting to, really adopt that change management, to adopt new process, to be able to learn.
To find out more, search Sensei Predictive Maintenance.